we're joined by Harvey's Mayor Christopher Clark. Mayor Clark, thank you so much for being here. You know, you came in 2019, you made some changes to the police department, and then a couple months ago you announced a complete overhaul, firing the superintendent. What led you to make such a drastic change there?
Well, I had the opportunity, first of all, when you're first getting into this position here in the city of Harvey as mayor, you have to do an assessment of what you have overall. I've been able to get the time over the past 2 years to get that assessment and come up with the ideas as far as what problems were in our city, specifically with our police department. One of those things that I, of course, spoke on publicly was about the issue of corruption. And so I decided that it was time to make some changes for us to do an overhaul and move in another direction.
And obviously the police department has to deal with the issue of crime here. Homicides have been an issue in Harvey for a long time, predating your mayorship. Why is it such a stubborn problem in Harvey?
I think that's an issue really of community. I've said before that I think that there are some who come into our community from other communities, if you do the research, and you see where they've come into our community and caused problems. Harvey has always been a tight-knit, tenacious community that has always worked together. But when you have others that come in, we call them the usurpers or whatever you want to call them, that come into our town and cause those problems, that's where they're an issue. That's why I decided that it was necessary for us to change the liquor hours from 5 o'clock in the morning to 12 midnight, just to reduce some of that traffic.
So one of the prongs there of the plan. So tell me what's going to change in the police department.
Well, we've already changed a lot of things in the police department. We, of course, for the first time in 20 years, we've got new vehicles and new equipment for our police department. We're also providing our officers with the tools that they need in order to do their jobs. We've got body cams before the state even mandated that body cams were necessary in the state, along with lower lethal uses of force by bringing in tasers. You know, as we begin to build our force even more, our force will be more engaged with the community, because once again, I'm trying to make sure that people understand that Harvey is a community. It is a community. It is a place where all of our people work together to try to create better lives for each other.
Now this comes as Harvey for many years has also faced financial challenges. Pensions have been teetering on bankruptcy for a while. The water department was in receivership. What is the status of those things right now?
We're constantly engaging with those that we own, but we don't use that as a deterrent to what we need to do. You know, Harvey's been on its back before. If you look at the over 100-year history of the city of Harvey, it's been on its back before. But each and every time we've been on our back, we've always gotten up. Financially, we've gone through crises in the 1930s, and we've gone through those crises now. But we've been able to engage with those that we own. We're working with our bondholders to try to create a reasonable way of paying them back, and I think that we're headed in a positive direction.
And speaking of positive direction, there's a major development happening right in front of us. As I'm told, the biggest development in 20 years. How did that come about, and could it spur more?
We believe that it can, and it came from actually some serious work on behalf of the team that's around me. And I'm the mayor, but I'm also, surrounded by good people, and those good people working to actually make that development happen. Along with our TOD and our TIF incentives and economic development in this community, we know that it should spur more development and bring more people to our great city.
And you mentioned good people around you. Residents here have gotten used to the news of investigations of the former mayor. You were an alderman and very critical of the former mayor. How do you assure residents that those days of corruption are over?
Well, I tried to prove myself prior to becoming a mayor. First of all, I'm an attorney by trade. I'm a licensed attorney. I'm still practicing here in the state of Illinois. I've had all of my businesses here. I'm invested in the community. Talking about that investment from just not myself, but also my family. So it's important to me personally, first of all, to keep my own reputation clear. But it's also important to me to have good people around me, and I'll specifically say, especially with the residents, the seniors, who actually keep me grounded. Those are the people who raised me. Those are the people who put those salt of the earth characteristics and traits into me to make sure that I don't lose my way as I'm going along trying to serve them.
All right, Mayor Clark, best of luck to you. A lot of challenges that you're tackling. We appreciate you joining us out in the cold tonight.
Hey, you're quite welcome. You have a wonderful evening.
All right, you as well.